Northern Ireland is the only part of the United Kingdom where personal protection is an acceptable, legitimate reason to obtain and own a firearm, and the only part where handguns would be permitted, and if the police service in Northern Ireland deems there is a verifiable specific risk, it's immediately a concealed carry permit. All of the things the city of Portland does. You don't even have to have a good reason in the city of Portland. In fact, they want you to conceal carry. They just don't want people getting alarmed by people seeing a gun. It's appearances only. Okay. But Northern Ireland has another rule. First-time buyers are required to demonstrate they can be, quote, trusted with a firearm. Meaning, if you're a dumbass, the individual police officer can state flat out, I don't want you to have a gun because I'm scared of you having a gun. They can also do that to abuse your rights. They leave it up to the constable. It's not a right, it's a privilege. Meanwhile, in the United States and every other free country, this is not an insult to them. This is more free than London, okay? It's like driving. Unless there's a specific reason, you shall issue. I mean, if you can pass the test, why would you refuse? But we don't outlaw people who get caught drunk driving twice in a row and say, you're not allowed to drive anymore. They do in Russia. In fact, at one point, if they caught you driving again, they'd just shoot you. They didn't necessarily kill you, but they were permitted to shoot you at one point, just so you'd get the message, stop drinking and driving. It became a real problem. This is Russia we're talking about, okay? I don't even know if that's true, but it's an interesting anecdote. The UK prohibited pump-action rifles and semi-automatic rifles that fire centerfire ammunition. So you can have a pump-action or semi-automatic 22. But anyway, and pistols and handguns with barrels that were shorter than a foot and had a total length less than 2 feet are usually illegal. They want the thing to be 2 feet, not 2 feet 2 inches like the United States for the total length, and that's even for pistols. And again, only a few places allow you to have pistols. They just got fed up with pistols, apparently. Like some cities, they literally just outlawed handguns because that was actually the real problem. Not someone shouldering a full-length fucking rifle that just looks scary and can fire half as fast as a machine gun. And is not a machine gun. But anyway. But semi-automatic pump action, anything centerfire. So rim fire, blah, 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 blah. And you have to look up the individual rules. I'm going to repeat them better in a minute. Next. You can get a firearms certificate, FAC, for 5 years. 22 caliber long-barreled revolvers, or the other thing that looks like a revolver called a pistol, which usually has a magazine feed, have to have 1 foot barrel and are 2 foot long overall somehow, and are single shot. Any caliber is okay under the firearms certificate, according to one source. Yeah, instead of 2 feet 2 inches for a rifle in the United States, you're required to have a big fucking gun that's a pistol. They don't want short pistols. They want them not concealable. 2 feet is their limit instead of 2 feet 2 inches like in the United States. Rifles can be any caliber as long as they're 2 feet long with a 1 foot barrel. Can't be auto-reloading. And if they are, they need to be 22 caliber only. So any centerfire has to be manual. So you have to have bolt-action rifles. And if you want to have anything, auto-reloading, it has to be 22 caliber pistol stuff. But if they're large enough and it's a rifle, well, you get the idea. Single shot, any caliber, pretty much okay. Shotgun certificate for 2-inch max smoothbore. That's a 200 caliber barrel, if you don't know about it. Shotguns have to be 40 inches long and a 2 foot barrel out of that. Or break action 1 foot barrel and 2 foot fixed length. Basically, they have the same firearms rule for everything. Now, the break action idea is pretty simple. If you have a shotgun, a break action is preferred by most people. And it allows you to have a 3-round max, and yes, you can have a 3-barrel shotgun, which would allow you to have literally all the advantages of a shotgun. It would be clunky and ugly looking, maybe. It would be an over and under and side by side. Anything more than this requires a firearms certificate. You can get a shotgun certificate, which is what they want you to see you do, and they get a firearm certificate to upgrade to something that actually can do something else. And then you have to demonstrate good reason for it and be part of a gun club and that sort of thing. Now the next website said, the United Kingdom, side-by-side, over-under, bolt-action, and lever-action shotguns are required to conform to specifications of 2-foot barrel length if held on a shotgun certificate. This is another website's interpretation of it. If held on a firearm certificate and they demonstrate good reason for possession, they must comply with the standard configuration of a 12-inch barrel, 2-foot minimum overall length. They let you carry something smaller. In case you didn't figure it out, you can fold a break action completely in half, and you have a 1-foot barrel and a 1-foot body. Now it's a concealed weapon. You're allowed to carry. You can't do that with a pistol. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, you can. You can make a break action pistol. Now all of a sudden you got something that's this long and folds out to be a real shotgun or a pistol. Oh, 2-foot fixed length shotguns. That was the other statement, remember? Anyway, applicant has to demonstrate a good reason. And there are Section 1 firearms. Obviously, break actions or break-down guns would also come in place. Oh yeah, you can get a gun that you don't have to fold in half. You can just dismantle it. And that's very common because they're easier to pack. But without all of these rules, you can just get a shotgun, which is ridiculously effective for a lot of things. Make it a break action. It can fold completely in half. And yeah, make it a 40-incher. That would be about right. And that would be allowed for you to have a foldable. 2-foot fixed length. Okay. How about a 4-footer? You get the idea. So. Yeah, basically, yeah. So. Shotgun held on certificate must either have no magazine or a non-removable magazine, no more than 2 rounds. Shotguns held on certificate, firearm certificate, are not subject to magazine restrictions. So if you need to be able to fire more than that, you just get the shotgun and firearm certificate. And the cost is, every 5 years you have to re-up and that sort of thing. And every area has a slightly different set of rules. Whether held on a shotgun or firearm certificate, semi-automatic and pump-action shotguns are always required to comply with the specification of 24-inch minimum barrel length, 40-inch overall, etc. Muzzle-loading firearms on firearm certificate are exempt from any restrictions on barrel or overall length. A smoothbore muzzleloader held on a shotgun certificate would be subject to standard 24-inch barrel length specifications if it was obviously a shotgun. Readily convertible anything that is not on a certificate, that is not made to be a gun, that is not pressure tested, actual safety rules are involved here, they would be illegal. That includes taking a toy gun and making a real gun out of it. They want you to start off with a real gun. Okay, that seems reasonable from that standpoint. Now, why did I do this video? Well, in the United States we have different rules, and it's a different world. Muzzle-loading black powder shotguns and pistols and rifles are not subject to federal regulations, tax stamps, and ATF permits. ATF originally was a tax collection entity. No real rules. I can build a 12-gauge pistol if I want to. There's no reason to. And it just has to be muzzle loading. And the ATF at one time wanted to outlaw using any modern component that would do the equivalent, but they came to the conclusion that the real thing they were worried about wasn't that you would use modern propellants and modern primers and make a really reliable gun. That's for hunting season, where they want you to use the a more of a challenge of using a primitive method. If you want to do a reenactment of a hunt from 1880s, you can do that. But if you actually want to go hunting during normal season, they said, yeah, you can go ahead and use a muzzleloader that has shotgun primer jammed in, where the other thing would be for a cap or frizzen with a match. And you're allowed to use, they make them, you can just use a standard shotgun that has been converted into being a muzzleloader permanently, and it'll be able to tolerate modern propellants, and it's better and it's safer and it's less messy. You can also use, instead of lead slugs like they required, You don't have to do that because it's not hunting season. You're not hunting. You're shooting at the range. You're allowed to use bird-friendly shot just like you would if you were shooting primitive method for shooting ducks. They decided that all the rules about reenactment rules should be just thrown aside, and the ATF said, yeah, you can use inline, basically big shotgun shells that are shaped like a gun, and you can go ahead and do that. But that also meant that people could make 12-gauge pistols that use modern propellants and modern materials for another reason. The ATF made a simple decision. The modern materials, if you build the gun to handle modern smokeless powder, which a bunch of the companies started doing, it made them less likely to blow up. They were stronger, they were tougher, they could tolerate you doing some dumbass thing where you don't pack them correctly, and they decided for consumer protection and safety reasons, and because literally a kid trying to figure out how to load a muzzleloader just doesn't sound likely, they should relax the rules and just shut up. So literally in the United States, 50 caliber is the standard. There are some rules about the diameter, max, sort of like in Britain it's 2-inch, for fuck's sake. But in the United States, you're allowed to build a muzzle-loading rifle, pistol, shotgun combo. It can be a rifle barrel on one side, smooth bore on the other. You can fire shot, bullets, whatever. And it can be anywhere, any damn diameter you want to. That would work for a shotgun, pistol, or rifle. Yes, they make 22 caliber and 17 caliber muzzle loaders. And it's not, and because of the rules in the United States, you can make one. You can't sell it. For all practical purposes, just don't. You will want to serialize it. You want to put some unique identification on it so it's trackable. If it's stolen from you, you should say, yeah, it has these numbers hidden underneath on the bottom of the barrel. And in practical, parlance, if you're making one of these things, make a double barrel pistol and double barrel shoulderable rifle and shoulderable shotgun. In the United Kingdom, they have all these rules, and they're based on, I don't like some of the rules, obviously, because I think that they're kind of crazy, but they're not as bizarrely stupid as the U.S. government saying, we're going to make an arbitrary 2-foot and 2-inch limit on the gun, but I can get away with making it all barrel, so it's even better gun. And in the UK, it has to be a fixed length, but if you make a folder that's 40 inches, it's still a 20-inch body part, so you just get a better gun. I like how they kind of push you into getting a better quality gun that might even be cheaper and would probably be safer for you. And the ATF actually doing something like that too. I'm actually complimenting them, but I still love Northern Ireland. Yes, Northern Ireland, you're allowed to just buy a pistol, get a concealed permit, and just do everything else you might want to need to do. So I'm kind of okay with this. There's some hope. Not that I want them to have some Second Amendment argument. I personally don't care about the Second Amendment. I don't think any of these rules affect anybody who's a criminal or affect a person like me who can just literally, right over there is a fence post. It's made of metal. I can make anything. Yeah, I can make a 2-inch bore shotgun, I guess, cannon. But I did have a lot of fun finding out that looking up UK gun laws is a single page of data, and looking it up in the United States is like literally a screaming pain in the ass. Thank you. But at least they're clear and concise about it. Now we can talk about them arresting people for having butter knives and hammers. You own tools. I'll include the image. We confiscated these dangerous weapons under knife laws. None of them were knives. One of them was even a sharpener for sharpening knives. You know that stick thing you rub the blades on? And yes, an oversized butter knife. Well, we know gangs use them. No, the gangs aren't used. No. Literally a big butter knife, like you would use ostentatiously to butter bread with. Maybe they'll get sensible knife regulations. Anyway, that's it for the video. I'm just making it. I probably already made it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am, because I was wrong about Northern Ireland. Bye.